DC Comics. What a pile of dog crap it's been over the past couple of years, constantly providing us with abominations like this and this. Meanwhile, the MCU has just been dominating for the past 15 years. But things are going to change to the point where DC is going to completely surpass the MCU by a wide margin. The main reason for this is that they brought in some top guys to handle the situation. I'm talking about this man right here. Oh, wrong man. Don't mind that. James Gunn. Who's this man, you're asking? He's a man that's been heavily involved with the MCU over the past decade, mainly producing the Guardians of the Galaxy series from the start, and also being involved in other superhero movies and just contributing throughout the whole MCU project. This means that he has vast experience and knows what made the MCU such a successful company over the past years. The man's been working so hard that he went from having brown hair to grey in a 2-year span. Jokes aside, DC's even come out and admitted their mistakes and said, hey, we've messed up really badly over the past years. Our movies have been like dog shit, and so has our production, which is a great step forward. Admitting your mistakes so you can learn from them. James Gunn confirmed that they're going to reboot the current DC universe and make things more cohesive. They've created an 8 to 10 year plan which must be followed. If it's not followed, then this whole video is pointless and someone's just gonna get destroyed or something. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway, they're gonna reboot the universe with a new Superman movie hitting theaters in 2025. James Gunn has confirmed that this will be the true beginning of the DC universe. Also, we're getting some Green Lantern movie and a new Batman movie that's gonna introduce a new Batman to the scene. Just this reboot that we're getting alongside a 10-year plan indicates that we're finally, thank God, we're getting an epic DC universe. The man literally said that their universe has been horrendous and it must be addressed. Hence them saying, screw this Aquaman guy and these other assholes. Let's just reboot the whole thing. And all of this will 100% culminate into a new Justice League movie, which will be like 10 times better than the previous one that we got, because this time we're actually going to get some standalone movies that's gonna develop the different characters. You're not gonna sit in the theater and go like, hey, who's this guy right here? And why should I care about Flash again? He seemed like an asshole. But now you're asking, like, why are they making Batman 2 with the vampire guy if they're gonna reboot the whole thing? Well, let me tell you, viewer that don't seem to trust me. They're going to have a main universe where all the major things are happening. Then they'll have like side projects that are not connected with the main universe. Side projects like the Batman and the Joker and so on. But now you're asking, hey Swedish man, if they're gonna reboot the whole thing, why are they doing Aquaman and Flash and stop it and listen to me. This man right here, his movie is probably going to reset the whole thing by traveling in time and doing weird things. Just like the Flashpoint storyline, everything's going to reset. And it's sort of gonna become the new 52 DC universe. The second major reason why DC will probably surpass Marvel is the fact that they've already won in all the other areas. Which areas am I talking about? Of course, the comics, TV shows, and the animated stuff. But now you're saying, who cares about the comics really? It's just an American thing that no other country on the planet has. To that I say, shut up. Shut up. It's a big part, man. We're talking about the form of entertainment that created the whole superhero genre. And it's undeniable that DC have the best comics. Mainly because they're producing comics that have great attention to art and design and storylines. Epic storylines like Batman and the 3 Jokers. Yeah, you heard me right. 3 different Jokers. Do you hear how awesome that is? That throughout the whole Batman run, we've had 3 different Jokers. 3 Jokers that's been constantly attacking Batman. And he didn't even know that there were 3 Jokers. That's just insane and really creepy, to be honest. I think one of the fundamental pillars are the animated movies. And all I have to say to you is watch it. Please watch the animated movies. What are you waiting for? Watch all of these movies at once, at the same time, on the same screen. Son of Batman, Batman vs. Robin, Justice League War. It's called the DC Animated Universe, and it's all just connected with each other. There's a red thread just going through everything, making sure that every movie is interlinked. That's a nice word, interlinked. So you're not sitting on your seat saying, who is this guy? Where did he come from? How's he connected? Those movies were really epic in terms of building up characters. We got to see Batman dealing with his son, Damian Wayne. We saw the Teen Titans battling a demonic threat called Trigon. And of course, everything culminated into them fighting this man right here, Darkseid. And be honest with yourself, which version looks better? This CGS mess right here or this animated beauty right here? Of course, the animated beauty. And James Gunn's just going to eliminate this CGI abomination from existence. Thank you, Lord and Savior James Gunn. Thank you. And this is without me even mentioning the different animated cartoons. Of course, I'm referring to these different series right here. Batman the Animated Series, who's just one of the best TV shows of all time. And of course, they're gonna be making new animated TV shows. And now if we take all these different things in consideration, we're gonna get animated movies and shows that are cohesive and follow a red thread. And also they're gonna have a special connection to the real life movies, in the sense that storylines that happen in the animated universe are gonna be connected with the real life universe. Animated movies will have the same voice actors as in the real movies. Storylines from the comics are going to heavily influence the new movies. So all the different confusion we've gotten over the years, where you're just sitting in the theater going, why are these assholes fighting this Earth level threat? Who the hell is Cyborg? Why are Suicide Squad over there? All these questions that you have are going to be eradicated. Eradicated like a bunch of cockroaches that have infested your home. Weird thing that I just said, but yeah. But of course, despite me being hopeful and happy, there are some really strong counter arguments. Especially the fact that the DC movies have just been dog awful in the past decade or so. A couple of them have been good, but the other ones have been really, really bad. They haven't been able to produce 2 good movies in a row since the Christopher Nolan trilogy back in 2005. Just looking at the movies in this terrible stretch. Man of Steel. Such a bad script and an unconvincing actor with bad character development. Maybe the actor was good, but the script was really, really bad. And a lot of destruction throughout the whole movie. Mainly the final battle, which was just some destruction porn. The movie was so boring that I remember falling asleep like 3 times while watching it on some illegal site in 2013. So I'm just walking around peacefully here in the forest, you know. Ah man, what can go wrong in the forest? Shit dude, what's that? What's that sound, dude? Holy shit, dude. It's the police, man. The police have come to arrest me. They've come to arrest me after all these years for downloading that shitty Superman movie on Pirate Bay, I think. Oh, no. And then we get to Batman with Superman. Some sadistic version of Batman that kills people and just hates Superman. Then starts loving him because his mom shares the same name as Batman's deceased mother. And of course, just a bad and predictable plot. Everyone knew after watching the trailer that Batman would first hate Superman, then become best friends with him. And then they would fight Doomsday and Superman would die. Like, what? These movies right here, I don't even want to talk about them. They just want to make me vomit. But why is this? Why are these movies such a major disappointment? Well, looking at Marvel, they were really piss poor back in the day, believe it or not. They even filed for bankruptcy and had to sell some of their most famous characters like Spider-Man and the X-Men. So when they started out the MCU, they didn't have room to mess things up. They didn't have a large budget that they could just splash on big actors and a lot of CGI. They actually had to focus on creating a good movie with good character development, because nobody knew who Thor and Iron Man were back in the day. A movie like Spider-Man's always gonna put asses in the seat because he's Spider-Man, the most famous superhero of all time. But with Iron Man and Captain America, nobody knew who these guys were, so you had to make a good story. And all of this culminated into it being one of the highest earning franchises of all time. Which was a really funny list because Pokemon, nice voice Nice voice crack, asshole. Pokemon was number 1 on this list. And this Japanese asshole called Anpanana was even higher than the MCU. Some cartoon figure created by this man right here that likes to ride horses. Anyway, we're getting a bit sidetracked here. The point is that DC haven't showcased that they can learn from their mistakes. There's still a massive corporation that has a lot of money that they can spend on CGI and just destruction porn. But what about the important character development? What about making an actual movie that makes sense? That's what captivates audiences. Not having 1 million movies with different actors and different universes. I talked to my friend who's a casual comic book fan, and he was just really confused. He was like, is the new Batman the old Batman, and are they in the same universe as these guys right here, and is the Dark Knight trilogy involved here, or where is the Joker? Who is Cyborg? These movies just lacked a cohesive and clear structure that just raised a lot of questions. Like, what happened to the Justice League? Did Darkseid just give up after watching Steppenwolf get decapitated? So many valid questions are being asked from so many different people here. But I still gotta say to all of those people, you're wrong. You're really wrong. The main reason for this is that DC has brought in an expert to lead them into the future. Someone that's been there and done that. And at the same time, the MCU is falling apart. Not gonna lie, the MCU Phase 4 was a major disaster. Movies like Thor and Ant-Man and the Eternals were just dog awful. And it's safe to say that the future movies in Phase 5 are going to be god awful as well. The same thing can be expected from movies like The Marvels and The Blade. Guys that nobody really cares about. I mean, seriously, does anybody care about a vampire hunter? About some sleazy ass vampire hunter? And all of this works in DC's favor. If the next MCU phase fails and DC is able to produce some awesome movies a la Superman Legacy, then you have a real chance to start overtaking the superhero genre. I mean, who's gonna stop you from making real progress? Some asshole vampire hunter called Blade? So, to make a long, terrible story short, we're getting a major reboot in the near future thanks to this movie right here. We're getting rid of assholes like Aquaman and that weird version of Batman that just kills people. Instead of those bad movies, we're getting a fresh new Superman movie that's gonna propel the new DC universe forward. James Gunn has made sure that they have a long-term vision consisting of movies that are linked together. We'll get character development from all the superheroes before they eventually team up. None of that weird bullshit that we got in Justice League where we didn't even know half of the team. This combined with the animated movies and TV shows and comics being well superior than the Marvel ones. All of this will just culminate into DC dominating and completely overtaking MCU on the superhero market. So for everyone that's out there complaining about DC, I only have to say one thing to you. Stop it! Just stop!